I'm twisting medicinal. Pissing medicinal, spitting that clinical. I'm in the delivery room, pockets pregnant, bitch trying to clip the umbilical. I ain't simple or typical, general. Nigga, I'm nuts, no genitals. I fell in love with them chemicals. I bust a few nuts and she swimming them. These niggas that tough and they feminine. Play no games, niggas not even scrimmaging. These niggas can't see me, no imagery. My pockets so fat, they hemorrhaging. Damn, that's an injury. I gotta keep the same energy. My soda pink with that remedy. Big tune, I lick shots, them niggas lick wounds. Shoot up everything but the kids' room. I walk out the bank like the men's room. I got paper like I'm a Tribune. I fly bitch out like a witch broom. I run in her mouth like some gym shoes. Come all over her face, now skin smooth. Hoe ass nigga, camera toe ass nigga, panty hoe ass nigga. Candy store ass nigga, sweet and sour dough ass nigga, don't know how it go ass nigga. I'm a giant, I'm a coming frumpy fine for that nigga. Wait, I'm a baboon, I'm a tycoon. Bitches let tune, elephant in the room. I'm the shit, the perfume, I'm the salt in the wound. I walk on the moon, it's like carpet the tomb. I thought you was a goon, but take off the costume. You soft as balloons, I play dolls with balloons. Yeah, I make your heart boom boom. Yeah, I break her heart like the rules. Yeah, wait, I'm living a dream, pippin' the green, sipping the lean. Give me a bean, feeling serene. I'm here with a queen. She here for a ring, I'm killing her dreams, I'm killing the scene. A nigga a king, they kissing the ring, get bliggity bling, trippin' ravine, I'm with a regime.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 122 of the Splash Cast Monday Night Raw Around the League edition. I am your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your co-host, Norwood. Our powers combined, we are your HBCU homeboys. Happy to be back in the seat. Live on location from the Davis Estate. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. We are in Dive Team Media Studios, set A and B, as we shoot this podcast on location today. Let's get started. Y'all know what it is. We got a lot to talk about, so we're not even going to belabor the point. You know what it is when it comes to Around the League Monday Night Raw edition. HBCU news around the culture, followed by football and basketball if necessary. We put basketball in the pregame because it is the offseason. We already talked about the baseball. Go back and listen to the pregame. A lot of good stuff about the Braves. Shout out to Miggy, as well as Basketball Media Day. We talked about the Dame trade as well, and we talked about what happens next. With that being said, my brother, let's go ahead and get started right now. Hampton University absolutely destroys the Richmond Spiders, 31-14. Absolute domination from the get-go. As you can see, it was 17-0 at halftime. It was 17-7 at the end of the third. It was 31-7, and then Richmond scored again to make it 31-14 to make it look a little bit more respectable. Why is this a big deal? Because Richmond historically beats up on HBCUs. Similar to MEAC State.
No, not HBCUs. Hampton. They've ended our season multiple times. And to see this brought pure joy to my heart and to my soul. Go Pirates.
Yeah, man. Hey, so, before I say this, before we move on, we were watching Monday Night Football. Drew Lock looks like what they thought Zachary Taylor Thomas was going to be right now. He looks much better than them. But back to HBCU. Yes, sir. Hampton University beat Richmond. It was such a good game. And you see that this was shake
nuts.
So shout out to Hampton, man. We always talk about that first as well. So in other news, Howard ended up beating Robert Morris. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's a touchdown. Howard ended up beating Robert Morris 35-10. Morgan State got beat by Yale. We ain't even gonna say that score. Delaware State beat Virginia Lynchburg. A&T in the game of the week in the MEAC. Oh, shout out to North Carolina Central too. You know, we are invested in Durham. We want to see Central do well. They beat Campbell 49-48. You good?
Yeah, I thought he almost stepped out of bounds there.
No, he didn't. 49-48. So then you got
He's down.
North Carolina A&T beat Norfolk State in the game of the week in the MEAC 28-26. Hell of a game. What? There we go. You there? No.
Yeah, I'm still. Yeah, I'm locked in. But yes, excellent week of college football, of HBCU football, the MEAC. Also, Hampton won. Hampton won. Hampton won.
Yeah,
And this
man.
this is very important for us to continue winning.
Yeah, man. They did really well. MEAC, we are gonna be on y'all. We're gonna be on y'all until y'all do right social media wise. You should post all the scores every week. We shouldn't have to hunt. Um, but anyway, shout out to them in the SWAC. Boy, Alabama A&M. They played Tuskegee for homecoming, and I see why. They beat them 58-3. Texas Southern played Lincoln for homecoming, beat them 52-7. Finally, Southern University on offense shows some life. They beat up on Arkansas Pine Bluff 27-0. Alcorn State beats Alabama State in overtime. FAMU destroys Mississippi Valley. I told y'all about this sleeper now. There's a sleeper that I told y'all in the SWAC that. My bad. It caught me out. You saw me like the sleeper in the SWAC, Grambling State University. You got them boys down there playing. They upset Prairie View and beat them 35-20. More fighting. They are fighting for real. They don't like each other.
They should be.
I didn't know.
No, New York is fighting, or is legitimately fighting for its life. They go down 1-3, they can pack it up. And you just paid Daniel Jones all that money. That's a very bad situation to be in. And I think that situation is closer and closer to reality every day.
Yep. But so shout out. It was a lot of good football. It's homecoming season, so you're gonna start to see a lot more of these scores: 52-7, 58-6, 39-0, because they playing teams that they're gonna beat up on for homecoming. So shout out to the MEAC and SWAC. A bunch of good games are coming up. I think FAMU Southern's coming up. FAMU Grambling. I think FAMU Grambling already played. FAMU's got to travel. So some good black college football, man. We'll talk more about it next week as well, man. In other news in college football, at Shaw University, India Pofus becomes the first female in Shaw and CIAA history to kick a field goal, to kick an extra point. This has been something that has been going on more and more. They are giving women more opportunity to join these contact sports, trying to remove the limitations. And she got on the field and she made the kick. So shout out to India Pofus, man. That's great.
And that's what we said. Just like I think it was a girl with Jackson State last weekend. We covered India a couple weeks ago. Hey, with kicks, we all behind you. You don't make the kicks, we on your ass. But
yeah, now equal opportunity.
Yeah, we here to support. Good job, great job. Let her kick more, man.
Yep, man. Why not? And if she can make the kicks, hell, that's what you need to win.
I don't care who it is. We're here to win games. Kickers matter.
Yeah, speaking of kick, man, so we'll talk about this. Howard kicked off their rugby season with their first D1 season with a win. They beat UNC 59-7. Now, is this North Carolina?
That's crazy. Yes, University of North Carolina. Whoa.
This is wild crazy because in any sport, y'all know, and I hate to make this PWI versus HBCU, but I don't. So anytime a HBCU plays a PWI, because there's normally more resources, the HBCU is normally is overmatched. We showed y'all when Howard announced that they had their rugby team, them girls that were running out there, and I was like, ooh-wee. Now they got all the positions out there. They got the skill, they got the line, they got everybody out there, and they put the game together. And this game was never really in doubt. The top scores: MJ Waller had 2, Gabby Mays had 2, Beverly Phillips had 2. Cameron Holiday scored 3 times. Now how they get to 59, I don't know, but I like it, man. If we're gonna continue to dominate the sport, we can dominate all facets of it.
Yep. Yeah, that's 59-7. There ain't a whole lot to say. Thoughts and prayers.
That boy said,
lace them up tighter next time. That ain't good.
Yeah, you're
Congratulations to Howard, though. Continue to kick ass. We will support you until Hampton has a rugby team.
We'll support you as long as you don't play Hampton. That's fine. It is. As long as you play the whites, we'll always support you when you play against the whites. It is what it is. In other news, so Kevin Durant reported on Kevin Durant, who was starting the renovation of Bowie State University, being that he's from the DMV area. Kevin Durant Family Foundation finally unveiled the renovated gym and for Bowie State, the Bulldog Nation in the CIAA. As you can see, it is brand spanking new. It is a great upgrade, and they had an entire ceremony for it. It was great.
Congratulations. Number one, like, this project didn't take a long time. They got it in and got right to it. Number two, so many times we hear like the speculation, okay, they're going to do this, but it takes forever. They got right to it, got the job done. The facility looks beautiful. And congratulations to Bowie. Congratulations to Kevin Durant. Of course, the real MVP is mother.
Yeah, man. So yeah, she's the real MVP. So there are a lot of good things going on, man. A lot of good football, a lot of good initiatives going on in other sports around HBCUs that we try to talk about. So with that being said, I think that's everything. We've come to the end of HBCU news around the culture. As we said before, great weekend in football. Southern finally got off the schneid and won 27-0. A good game between Alcorn State and Alabama State. I believe that was Alabama State's homecoming. They might be next week. But we'll be right back, man. We'll be right back, man. We got a lot of college football to talk about. There is a lot of college football to talk about, as well as
what you trying to say, bro? Go ahead.
I'm gonna say everything I got to say about the Wildcats.
Billy. Fire him.
NFL.
Fire him.
We'll be right back. Y'all go get you a refreshment, get you some water, get ready for bed. We'll be right back. 2 minutes. Episode 122 of the Splashcast, Monday Night Raw. Y'all stay tuned.
Braves rave.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, with our football segment, which we're going to break up into two because it's a lot of football to talk about, man. College and sports. We're going to come back with our college football segment, episode 122 of the Splashcast, Monday Night Raw, the Around the League edition. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Always remember, like, follow, subscribe. Beverages. Let me tell you something. That refrigerator upstairs is clutch, ain't it? It is clutch.
Man.
Before we get into all of the SEC talk, everybody knows there's a lot of big games, a lot of pretenders, a lot of contenders in college football. I want to talk about stuff when there's no place for. I'm all for in the midst of the game trying to destroy your opponent. If you're within the lines and even bending the rules, we've all been told to do it and done it. And didn't have to be told to bend the rules.
Yeah.
It is war in between the lines, in especially in football when you're trying to make it to the next level to feed your family. But sometimes there's no place for this in football. Now, number 6 for Louisiana Tech, is it UL? Louisiana Tech was playing against UTEP, and this is what happened. The player gets up and stomps on the UTEP player's neck. After he hits him and stomps on the back of his neck to hurt him after the play, and it wasn't called by the refs. Now, UTEP's head coach Dana Dimel says that the referee came over to him at halftime and said, "I'm sorry, I missed it. That's part," and said he was sorry that he missed it and he should have called it. And said that the referee was a class act. I do appreciate that, and as you can see, Aaron Jones, who went to UTEP, plays for the Green Bay Packers, standout running back, said that there's no place for this in football. At the least, number 6 for him, I'm a freeze frame, so y'all know who it is. Number 6 should be minimum suspended for a certain amount of games, if not kicked off the team.
Let me give you an update. Louisiana Tech linebacker Brevin Randall received an indefinite suspension after stomping on the head of UTEP offensive lineman Stephen Hubbard during Friday's night's game. Coach Sonny Cumbie, I met with Brevin Randall today and informed him he has been suspended indefinitely as a result of the incident during last night's game versus UTEP. Our university and athletic department and the football program believe in culture, class, and competitive excellence, and in no way was that displayed at this moment. Perfect.
It wasn't, man. So they got him out of there. I'm going to take that off the screen because we don't need to see that young man get stepped on his neck over and over again. But there is no place for that.
He looked like he was already hurt. That's the really bad part is, hey, I'm already injured. And you took your elbow and hit me in the back of the head, neck area. And then stomped
on the back of my head and neck. Yeah. You can't do that. You can't do that. Now you're gonna have to tell me. I think do we have sound? Nope. You're gonna have to tell me about this Nick Saban doing what he was told clip.
Okay. This was fantastic. Basically, his wife, Miss Terry, I guess his wife instructed him, hey, if the team, as we all know, Alabama struggled this season, they don't look like the typical Bama team. Miss Terry said, hey, if they're not playing good, get on their ass. And Nick Saban said, hey, I'm just doing what I was told. For me, I liked it because
this is Sparta.
That's what that you don't get the human side of Nick Saban very often, and I think this is a good attempt at comedy. You knew Nick Saban was gonna get on your ass anyway, but like including his wife, I think was perfect. This is funny, and you just don't get that much from Nick Saban. He's very Bill Belichickian, where he's just not gonna give you a whole lot. But this was excellent.
Yeah. I will say I think Bama ended up winning. They got one loss, right? They got one loss.
Yes, this was an off week for them. They played.
They got one loss. Everybody say they are not who they are. They got one loss. But anyway, Nick Saban, I will say he is showing the human element of himself. That you're right. That is really, really nice to see. And then of course down at Texas A&M, another human element moment. Jake Johnson, I think he was like a 4-star tight end down at Texas A&M. Got his first college touchdown from a pass from his older brother Max, as they scored playing against Auburn 8 days ago. We did not podcast last week because we had to I had the wedding and all that stuff. So, but yeah, he scored. That was a great moment, man. That's what you live for.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you grow up playing on the same team because of your age range. You always dream, hey man, we'll go to college together, we'll play together, we'll run it up, we'll score some touchdowns, and to actually live this, unbelievable.
Yeah, man. But we know why y'all are here, though. We know why y'all are all here. The game of the day, there were a lot of game of the weeks, but the game of the day earlier was Colorado versus USC. USC ended up winning 48-41 against Colorado. In Colorado, Deion had everybody there as normal. What were your thoughts on this game of the week? I have a few, but I'll let you go first. I don't want to step on the point.
Well, let's talk about the game, and then I kind of give you my thoughts. My thoughts are more secondhand, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, in the game, we were watching the game, getting ready. Oh,
actually, let's knock out this stuff from last week first. The last couple weeks first. You got the Travis Hunter, Blackburn situation. They actually got together. If you remember, Henry Blackburn is the player who injured him, lacerated the kidney in the play that was considered dirty, cheap, all of that. They were able to meet up, get up together, play some, to bowl some games, and just kind of sit down and have a conversation.
So for those that don't remember, this is the play. It was clearly a dirty hit. He literally looked for him to hit him, to try to hurt him. Then he was talking trash back to him. Now, and then Shador, of course, gets in his face and is like, yo, what are you doing? Now, I will say that was a dirty hit. You deserved all the smoke that you got on the field. But as we reported last time, he got death threats. I think people posted his information, his parents' information on social media, and they said that they were going to drive to where he was, where they live, and they were going to hurt him and his family. The police had to get involved. Deion had to get on and make a statement. The coach from North Colorado State, Norvell, had to make a statement. It got way out of hand. And shout out to Travis Hunter. As you said, they shared a moment where they went and went bowling.
They went bowling. But before that, they had a sit down conversation. Just
on a park bench.
Like at the end of the day, if you are college age or went to college, that's a time period where you're relatively stupid. You think you know everything. It just is what it is. I've been a college kid before. I know what that's like. And you're right. He made a mistake, but like adults like putting that kid's address out there and doing all of that, that's wild to me. Like that's still a kid. And I think about the tons of mistakes I made at that age. You know, he made a mistake. It shouldn't be his defining moment. It shouldn't be, follow him for the rest of his life. Hey man, he's a football player. Took it a little too seriously. We probably all did at a certain point. But for them as young guys to be able to act like adults, hey, let's have this conversation. Let's talk through this. And I mean, they look like friends now. That is more adult than I see a lot of adults act these days. And that's impressive, man. I love the hell out of this.
I do too. It's tough. Now, there was a little bit more smoke now after that Oregon game. Dan Lanning goes on and talks about the Coach Prime effect after Oregon just curb stomped Colorado in the first game without Travis Hunter in the first road test for the first big test for Colorado, which, as we all talked about, when you get overhyped a little bit and you win games that you're supposed to win, and then you play a team that is just physically better and a program is at another level than you are, they're at the level you're trying to get to, it happens. But what we talked about was Dan Lanning it was personal for Dan Lanning. No shots. He got mad at Deion for whatever reason. And I'm not going to say Deion. I'm going to say Colorado for whatever reason. We talked about Colorado stomping on the O. We talked about them talking trash. But everybody talks trash. I had time to sit and think about that. Everybody talks trash to each other. Dan Lanning went and tried to embarrass Colorado. And it's been said by Keyshawn. We talked about it last episode when they said coaches were calling Oregon, giving them information on Colorado about how to beat them. Now, I don't know how true that is because they've only played 2 games.
That happens everywhere. And, I mean, you're right. Now, I didn't even think about that. You don't have a lot of tape on Deion and his coaching style with this team to have that much game planning. I think that he took it personal, but I mean, for me, I'm a person who I try to do better about this, but I take things personal too. Hey, I'm the team that you should be coming to see. Deion is getting all the media coverage. My guy is the guy who's been a Heisman candidate multiple times. Shedeur is getting the coverage. And at that point, they actually had Shedeur higher than Bo Nix. I got to see more. I don't believe a ton in Bo Nix, but
I've seen Bo Nix for 6 years now. He is almost the same age as Stetson Bennett. There ain't been no jokes. I'm going to put that out there. Yeah. So, but what I will say about this, go ahead.
Well, yeah, we got a program to sell, and that guy works hard as hell every day, and then not to get the love. Yeah, I would take that personal. I would take this personal. Yeah. But once it was all said and done, and like it's done now, I appreciate him. Because you don't have to do this. He gave him his respect. But when we're competitors, we are competitors.
Nah,
I ain't like you said.
Nah, bro.
Huh?
Nah, I don't necessarily agree with that. You were talking. He was talking big during the game. He was like, I hope they Hollywood whatever. Which, as I agree with other people, sometimes cameras aren't needed everywhere. But the pregame speech was taking shots, which I guess you're trying to bump them up. But then, I hope you people are watching, blah, 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 blah. Like, he was doing a lot of subliminal shots, going for it, up 35. Hold on. going forward up 35-0 with whatever, going forward on 4th and goal. Like, that to me shows that you weren't just trying to beat and big up your team. You was trying to embarrass them. Like, you were trying to embarrass them. You were trying to embarrass Deion. You were trying to send a message. And to me, that's when I was like, all right, bro. Now, if any other coach, there were other coaches that have come in. If any other coach did that, you would, I don't know if you would have acted the same way. I don't think if there was any other coach, I don't think they would have acted the same way.
I think, number one, I'm a Florida fan, so I believe Steve Spurrier would have done all of this and worse. Number two, like, people, we're not, like, respectfully, Colorado and Oregon are not on the same level. A lot of people were going into this game saying Colorado could beat them. And I said, you don't stand a chance.
Not against Oregon.
And when people, if I'm gonna take offense to that too. Hey, this is my program. We're one of the best teams in the country. No shade to these guys, but we are on 2 different levels. And if you got people thinking that, then I'm here I got to prove to everybody. Like I say, I'm less than Val's son. You're going to treat me with a different level of respect than you're going to treat everybody else. And if you think you're going to get up here and say that me and Colorado are the same, the only thing I can do to you and to all of your believers is to show them that we are not in the same conversation.
So one thing that Deion and Colorado has been kind of criticized about was you got all of these 5-star freshmen, and your team is clearly lacking in a lot of areas, and you are not playing these 5-star freshmen. One of them was Cormani McClain, 5-star DB, number 1 DB in the nation, and it made something historic that I don't know had happened other than maybe with Georgia and Alabama, where the number 1 DB goes to the same coach 2 years in a row with Travis Hunter and then Cormani McClain. And the way that Travis Hunter burst onto the scene, you expected Cormani McClain to do the same thing. And then when Travis Hunter got hurt, you automatically thought Cormani McClain was next in line. But Deion said he kept it real with him. He said why exactly Cormani McClain hasn't been playing. And nope, no sound. He basically said, you need to study, prepare, be on time for meetings. You'd be a fool to put somebody out there and they're unprepared. And the Cormani did respond and said everything ain't what it seemed. I'm fighting politics and all of this other stuff too. But Deion called him out, and he did respond when we get to this to USC game though.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is that was the expectation. Travis Hunter down, Cormani next up. Thankfully he had a good game against USC. Which hopefully, we'll get Travis here back soon, and we can see what both of these guys look like together. Should be exciting.
Now,
I don't necessarily know if I love all of what Deion said. I think that's probably something that should have been shared between a coach and a player. You kind of put me in a tough situation. You have a much louder microphone than I do. But as a player, all you can do is go out there and you want me to play hard, you want me to study? All right, why would be the first person at every meeting? You want me to study?
He did something because he played him. Whatever he did, he played him against USC. So Colorado played USC. They ended up playing, of course, Coach Prime had the guest list there. He had DeAndre Jordan. He had the baby, LaShawn McCoy, Emmanuel Acho. He had everybody out there. So Paul Pierce, just to name a few. And it's gonna be a production. CC Sabathia was there. Of course, Terrell Owens is always gonna be at prime side. Tobin and Wingwe was there, as well as Michael Irvin. So it was the place to be.
This is the type of stuff that pisses other coaches off, though.
Why?
And that.
Why? I think not at USC. That don't happen. He's not pissed off at USC. USC has the same. They be having the same guest list.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying like your Oregon State, your Colorado State, your Nebraska.
Bro, y'all got Nike. Y'all could have all of that too. I mean, come on now. Like I said before, you can't be Oregon and be mad that Deion got guest list when y'all were the first team to come out with the extravagant. I mean, that's just the extravagant uniform. That's just a way for them to market and bring people there. Oregon came out. Do you think they came out with the uniform so it's like, oh, we just like colors? No, that was a recruiting ploy.
Well, that's also tricky. The guy who created Nike is an alum of your school. So, yeah, you're going to get a bunch. Imagine, when this podcast goes super crazy national, you don't think we're going to send Hampton a bunch of stuff? Absolutely.
So why can't you say that about Deion? Deion is the coach. You don't think he's going to leverage who he knows to come support the team? You can't give. Listen. I think y'all some suckers for being mad. Be a better program. If you want to be that and you want to have all of that, you want to stop it. The same way you can say that Dan Lanning said, "Well, I got to show you that I'm better than you," and then fine, show me that you better at all of that with me.
Answer. If you're gonna bring all your famous friends to these games, I'm going to make sure that I send you home with an L.
Yeah. So I will say they played. The game started out. I thought we almost cut the game off when they went up 14-0. I was like, Caleb Williams and USC came out like gangbusters. But I will say Shedeur Sanders improved his draft stock. He improved. I don't know. I don't think he's in the Heisman talk anymore. But he held his own against.
He got a lot of respect from me.
He held his own and got a lot of respect because he threw for 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. He threw for 4 touchdowns, but he did something that he didn't really do before. He ran. He ran for touchdowns, and that opened up the field for him. And I can see year 2. I can see year 2 if he comes back being tough.
I can see. I understand. I think he doesn't want to get typecast, which I think we're a little bit out of now because we have so many different black quarterbacks. But it's always that fear as the black quarterback of getting typecast as a running quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think that him holding on to the fact that he could do that a little bit longer doesn't allow teams to game plan as well for it. And I think it becomes more of a feather in your cap than something that you're dependent on. I like Shedeur. Shedeur has a level of toughness that I didn't think that I saw at first. And I think that it's kind of ramped up this season. But every time there's been some smoke, when Travis got hit, he was the first person there. It's just been a lot of things where people
when Norvell shook the hand, he was right there staring at him like he should do about it.
I like quarterbacks who are going to stand there when it's time to get going, because you got a lot of quarterbacks that will get missing. Oh no, that ain't really my thing. Oh no, you leave that to everybody else. Nah, when it's time to fight, you need to be right there to fight, and I really appreciate that. And I have a new level of respect for Shedeur Sanders, 100%.
Yeah, man. Now, despite the gig, like I said, it was 14-0 after the first quarter. It was 20-14 afterwards. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was 20-14. It was 34-14 at halftime. USC made it 48-27 at the end of the third.
Correct, Sneaky. He definitely got the Mahomes speed. Like he's not really fast, and not even necessarily fast, but just kind of elusive.
Yeah, and he played well, and Shedeur brought him back, man. He threw for, like I said, 400 yards. Caleb Williams Caleb Williams is nice.
And that was my only thing. Like I talked about Shedeur and Caleb Williams. I think that Shedeur is probably a good enough quarterback, but Caleb Williams is a world beater. I don't know. I'm afraid of what the NFL is going to do with Caleb Williams because I want to see him play next year. But the teams that have the draft picks right now will probably have him come back to college. The Bears have pick 1 and 2. I don't think that Caleb Williams is interested in the Chicago Bears at all.
I will say, the difference in this game was USC is just a little bit more mature. And when I say, and I don't mean mentally wise, even though you could throw that in there. I think they were just more physically mature than Colorado. Brennan Rice is a big dude, dog. He's good. 5 catches, 81 yards, 2 TDs. Their skill
routes.
Their skill positions. Yeah, we should draft them. Their skill positions are really, 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 really good. But
I draft quarterback before we draft him.
Colorado played well. Like we said, Caleb Williams, 30 of 40, 403 yards, 6 touchdowns. Shador, 30 of 45, 371, 4 touchdowns. Also with 60 yards rushing and a touchdown. So Shador played really, really, really well.
Good tight window throws too. I want to make sure it's not just. I think sometimes that gets missed. Is all right. You got 4 touchdowns. He threw some tight window, elite level touch passes
on the
in
run.
The clutch. And quietly, it exposed USC. USC's defense.
Oh, let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Day of watching tape, because now I think that they probably took the gas off and thought, okay, it was over like the majority of us too early. But
ain't no reason you can't press the gas again. They didn't score in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Now that's the other part. Like now, as a football player, I'll be honest. That what you said sounds right, but it's not. Like once you get up and you kind of pump the brakes a little bit, it's tough to get back into that same lather you had when you were just knocking faces off. So, but that's coaching. You gotta have situational awareness. You gotta know, hey man, I can't take the gas off. You gotta talk to your team about, oh, okay, you guys can't handle the lead and the defense. Hey man, y'all got whooped by a little team. Defense, y'all got whooped. 41 points is a whooping. Oh, now you just happen, you lucky enough that you had Caleb Williams on the other side to carry you the rest of the way. But let me be very clear, that defense you got beat.
Y'all DBs, USC's DBs was getting fricaseed. They were their rush ends. Now Bear Alexander
died and laid to the side.
Bear Alexander did make a impact at the beginning of the game, but once Shador started running, and I hope he learns from that. Once he started running, and he's the type that will run and slide. Once he did that negated the whole pass rush. They didn't affect him at all in the second half because he started running. And Deion afterwards said, if you can't see what's coming with Colorado football, you've lost your mind. You're just a flat out hater. And normally I will say, Deion is marketing, which he is, but we got to go back to Cormani McClain. Brennan Rice had them 2 touchdowns in the first half. Cormani McClain played in the second half. Cormani McClain locked Brennan Rice down in the second half. I ain't going to say he stopped him, but I'm going to say he played. Brennan Rice was on his way to about a 150-yard game. So he put in Cormani McClain, a freshman, and then Omarion. He put in Omarion as well, or Omarion Miller, who was a freshman that he got in the recruiting class last year, had 7 catches, 196 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He pulled a Nick Saban in the national championship. He unleashed the freshman. And those guys are good.
Hungry.
They are hungry and they are good. I'm excited to see what goes on with those guys.
And I appreciate Shador Sanders. The lady mispronounced Omarion's name. He quickly corrected her and said, nah, this is a freshman. His name is Omarion. Those are the type of
good leader. He's a good leader.
Yeah, and I think that he understands, like, I can't really emulate the same type of persona my father had. I'm a quarterback. I have to be much more team oriented. I
think Deion knows that too, though.
Yeah. Oh, no. Now, that's the part. I think that Deion has been coaching Shador into this position for a very long time. That's my only concern is when you get a guy who you haven't spent your entire life with, what does it look like? Can you get it and get him caught? Can you get him caught up as that fast? But yeah, Shador he's had an opportunity, especially in these 2 losses, to show his intangibles, to show his integrity, and to show his toughness. And even with this right here.
Victories. Do you think this was a moral victory?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. Then we'll just move on from there. Do you believe in moral victory?
So of course, Shador. First of all, he has the overall persona and look of a quarterback. So he said, "I don't know what that means," kind of bashfully, meaning like, "Yeah, I know what it means." But like, nah, I don't believe in moral victories. And he actually, this is the Clippers cut, but he actually goes on to say that, nah, they put on their pants just like me. I don't believe in no moral victories. We're supposed to win every game. He said, I don't believe in any of that. Now, I do love the support of your team, but y'all were clearly outmatched these last 2 weeks. Yeah. But he's a good leader.
Yeah, the thing for me is, and he took it, one of the guys I would say I used to Fricaseed a lot was Cam Newton. Because after a loss, I mean, still do. But yeah, after a loss, he will be no good. You can't talk to anybody. You can't talk to the press. But after a win, you're ready to talk to everybody. Shador, a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of football players would have been very sensitive about that. He took it with a smile on his face. He kept his respect. He said, nah, I don't know what that is. He kept it pushing. But those are the small things for me that I look for in a quarterback. He took the loss. He took it on his nose. He didn't shirk his responsibility, and he didn't get sensitive. Like, that's the balance that I look for in a quarterback.
Yeah. Colorado going to figure this part out, though, and we'll end on this one. You can't, as a defense or as a team, allow 90 points in 2 games. You can't allow 90 points in 2 games. You cannot allow 90 points in 2 games.
Who do they got next week? I think they got another one next week.
Washington State, maybe? Washington State, maybe?
Let's look here. Colorado football schedule. Next up, Arizona State.
Arizona State almost beat USC.
Yes.
This actually might be a game that's pretty good for them. This might be a good game.
The scary part is all the rest of these games, these teams are incentivized. Arizona State made it tough on USC. Stanford is trying to turn it around. UCLA and Chip Kelly, you know what Chip Kelly means. You know what the business Chip Kelly is going to be on. Oregon State just took a tough loss. They're going to be motivated. Then you get Washington State and Utah.
Yeah, it can get Utah. They're going to get what's his name back by the time.
Cam Rising. Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be ugly. But anyway, we'll see, man. I also they'll continue to grow too. So I'm not gonna stifle their growth. You never know where that team could be, especially in college football. Once a team starts to gel, they could go. And also, like you said with USC, y'all gotta figure this out, boy, because Oregon is coming for y'all. Oregon is physical.
Oh yeah.
And T's and P's to Shiloh.
Whoop somebody, yeah. Or Oregon whoop somebody this week. You don't think that they looked at the game and said, "Oh, I see how we handled them, and I see how they handled them." You looking like lunch.
Yep.
Speaking of lunch, the Giants look
awful
right now.
Let's go to other college football. So Notre Dame played Duke, surprising Duke, who was undefeated and ranked. You said no. You said Duke's not surprising?
No, this game is not surprising. I think that Notre Dame and Duke are about the same. And I think I was proven to be right.
First off, I'm not going to sit here and try to front thinking that Notre Dame and Duke were going to be in similar conversations this year. Never saw that coming. I still don't believe that Duke, you're saying the way that you made that seem is that you thought Notre Dame and Duke are on the same level this year. I don't think they are.
I don't think that Notre Dame is that good of a football team. I will say it with my chest. I don't think that they're that good. I don't think that they're really ever that good. They just get that boost to start out the season at number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or number 4, and then just start drop. These teams are not legit. They're not. They need to get in a conference and play somebody regularly. If they got in the SEC, you're not going to be ranked. If you get in the Big Ten, you might not be ranked. You're just getting to float because you're non-conference.
Well, anyway, Sam Hartman led Notre Dame to a clutch game-winning drive against number 17 Duke. Duke pretty much had this game, I ain't gonna say in hand, but They were close, and then they ended up kicking. I think they kicked a field goal or scored a touchdown. No, they scored a touchdown. I'm sorry, I went for 2, made 21-14, and Duke's quarterback ended up getting hurt. Riley Leonard, who ended up getting hurt on the final drive, or the drive before the final drive, in which he was trying to lead a comeback.
Classic move by Sam Hartman after the game. No, they were interviewing him. He kept it brief. He's like, "Man, I got to go talk to this dude. Make sure he's all right." I think that Duke reminds me of that Wake Forest team from last year, where you're like, "Oh, are these guys gonna keep winning?"
Yeah, and they did. Wake Forest kept winning.
Yeah, and I feel like, they played a team. This is a game they could have won, honestly. That's for me. I don't believe.
Thank you, Russ. Thank you, Russ.
Dame.
Saying how Duke and Notre Dame on the same level is crazy, but I think Duke should have won this game. I watched this game. I went back. So I actually, after we had like we said, shout out to Elway and Jasmine. We had an eventful weekend, but I went back and watched this game, or watched the highlights of it. You can watch YouTube, watch like 20-minute versions of the game. Duke had a chance to score way more than 14 points. Notre Dame's defense is decent, but they got a lot of holes in their defense. And the offense did just enough. And Duke's defense ain't supposed to be that great. So I do agree with you that there is a lot of doubt and holes I have with Notre Dame here.
Absolutely. And Duke can still salvage the season. They played North Carolina State, which is probably going to be a better game than people think.
Fricaseed.
Then you go play Florida State. If you can beat them, you back in it. You play UNC, who's ranked. You play Virginia and Pittsburgh. If you close out, if you're still in the running. So really, they got one loss.
Notre Dame? Yeah, they lost to Ohio State.
No. Duke, they only got one loss right now.
Yeah.
It's just, well, yeah. You could salvage the season.
They'd have to. They're gonna lose to Florida State, but they would have to win out everybody else though.
I still think this is probably. I think they end the season top 25,
which is a win for them.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Battle down in Oxford. Ole Miss beats LSU in the basketball, 55-49. No, it's a football score, but I never thought I would see this score. Well, I do because of Brian Kelly. This effectively ends LSU's season, or chances to make it to the college football playoff. They have to win out and hope some other teams lose to make it to the SEC championship game.
It's over for them.
They gave up 711 yards of offense. The defense for LSU gave up 711 yards. Jackson Dart was out there. Look at this. Time out.
Geno Smith is back on the field.
Yes, and he's talking big noise. He got a flag the first play he came back on the field for unsportsmanlike conduct.
That's wild.
But yeah, Jackson Dart, they were playing with their hair on fire on offense, and he was out there jumping over players, and they look, he just hopped over. They look good on offense.
Lane.
They look
Lane
awful
wants to
on
spoil
defense.
Everybody's night when he can. And LSU, he didn't get Bama, but he sure as hell got you.
Yeah. Now, as a UGA fan, we got to play them. And
one thing he's trying to ruin your night.
And one thing UGA is a slow starter. And you can't start slow against a high-scoring team, man. But I think UGA, we got a couple games before that game. I think we got to play some team, and then we play Kentucky. So
also undefeated.
Speaking of Kentucky, they are undefeated after they won their third in a row against Florida, 33-14. It was a rough night for Florida. It was domination by Kentucky. I will say this is probably, I'm not used to this Florida, especially the last two coaches. I'm not used to Florida getting out physical. I don't know how to say that. Lacking physicality. I don't know the correct verbiage for what I'm trying to say. I'm trying not to say they're soft, but I have not seen them.
No, they're sorry. They are sorry. They're not well coached. And I'm happy about this. I want Billy Napier to go on somewhere else and do something else for somebody else. Maybe he go back to Alabama and be a wide receiver coach. I don't care. We got to end this now. This is embarrassing. And like you said, we got bullied. It's not and we got Kentucky had control of the game the whole time. Not to mention we had 13 players on the play.
Talk about being bullied. So they got bullied to the point where Florida down 23-7. As you said, they won 33-14. They were down they had 13 players on 1st and goal. And I just want y'all to, if you're watching, to watch this hot knife through butter. The running back had 4 touchdowns. 4. This Kentucky, Stoops he was on the hot seat, and then he had that 8-win season, and he got Josh Allen, and he's turned the corner. He has that's a rough and rugged defense. I mean, rough and rugged team. They are pro style, and they hit you.
They have run consistently for a couple years now. I like this. I like what Kentucky has done. I don't like Florida. And if you can't stop 11 guys with 13 guys, then what the hell are you doing?
Mm-hmm. And you got a 500-pound defensive lineman on the field. What's that dude, number 21?
Right there. Number 21.
He 500 pounds.
I mean, it is what it is, yo. Fire the coach. Fire the coach.
Nah, y'all beat Tennessee. Y'all got hope.
Don't you disrespect me like that.
Y'all told you he's y'all Mark Richt. Y'all about to go 9-4, and y'all gonna win y'all bowl game by 21 points. What did you put here? Oh, the score. What was the score? Where's the score? So, TCU.
These next 2 games is more about their implications. Number one, you remember the beginning of the season, TCU took that loss to Colorado. They just took a loss to West Virginia. This is the team that I tried to tell y'all that I don't think is very good. I don't think that this will be their last loss of the season. They just ain't it.
Yeah.
Reality set in real quick.
Yeah, and Texas thumped Kansas. Texas seems like they're back, man. I have tried not to say it. Because every year they do the same thing. But Texas seems like they are back.
That's the other part about TCU. They still got to play Texas, still got to play Oklahoma. They're going to have 2 more losses. They're going to be an unranked team for sure. Now, Texas, on the other hand, is trying to set themselves up to be legit. I think that they're right at the point where, hey, this is our last season not in the SEC, and we want to walk into the SEC with confidence. And if they continue to play like this, I think this Quinn Ewers last season, but they're gonna have your boy next season, right?
Arch
Manning.
Yeah. And I told y'all, dang man, I wish we could go back to like episode 49 or whatever. I told y'all that when they got Manning, I was like, he's not going to play till they go to the SEC. And I guarantee you, his first game, his breakout game will be when they play Ole Miss, because that will be a Manning back in the Grove. Watch the schedule. They are going to make them play Ole Miss in Ole Miss. I guarantee it. They're going to play them, and they are going to happen. Because Texas right now is rolling. As I told you, they won 40-14. Mind you,
and
Kansas was undefeated.
Yeah. And I will say this. If they can beat Oklahoma, which I think that they will be very motivated to, it will be at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. This is the Red River rivalry. But once they beat Oklahoma, they play Houston, beatable BYU, beatable Kansas State, beatable TCU, beatable Iowa State, beatable and Texas Tech, beatable. They could be in the playoff this year.
Oh, when they beat Alabama, I was like, oh, Nick, bro. When they beat Alabama, I was like, wait. And I looked at their schedule. I was like, they ain't really got a lot of losses on their schedule. It's like Oklahoma. That was really it. So now that makes Alabama look good. Watch Alabama mess around. They can make it into the playoff. You can still have 2 SEC schools because Texas beat Alabama.
But the thing about it is, look at everybody who's still good.
USC.
You got Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, another one with the easy schedule. Oregon and USC undefeated.
You believe in Michigan and USC?
No. But no. So this is the thing. At this point, until proven otherwise, you kind of got to put Georgia in there, pencil them in number 1. Michigan or Ohio State cannibalize themselves, but you're going to get one of them.
Oh, you got 2 last year.
Texas. So, but hear me out. So, Georgia, pencil them in. At this point, I think the Texans, after they beat Oklahoma, you can pencil them in. Oklahoma or Michigan, you're going to take one of those. Florida State, they have a cakewalk for the rest of their schedule. And then you got Oregon and USC.
And Alabama.
And Alabama. I think Alabama's going to have the toughest road to hoe. But
why? They play LSU.
Because
they got to still play Texas A&M. Oh, Texas A&M. Look out for them now. They only got 1 loss. At Texas A&M. I'm just saying all these teams have 1 losses in the
Oregon,
SEC to win.
I feel like the Pac-12 is going to get their representative. The SEC is going to get their representative. The Big Ten is going to get their representative. And then you got Texas and Florida State left. You got 5 teams for 4 slots. And I don't got an answer for that.
Well, I mean, they're gonna kind of. The only way the SEC can get 2 teams is if Georgia loses the SEC. If Georgia wins out and then loses. If the only way that Michigan and Ohio State can get in, you're not gonna. I see what you're saying. You don't have enough slots for the Power 5. This is what the playoff always presented. When you have 5 good teams from each conference, somebody's gonna get left out. And most of the time, when somebody gets left out, is because people favor. In our time, in this period of football, people are favoring the SEC, especially if
SEC gonna get 1 this time. You can't get 2. The Big Ten gonna get 1.
And did you say Oregon? Pac-12 you forgot Oregon too.
Oregon. No. That's the issue. Is the Pac-12 is gonna get their 1. I assume
Pac-12 could get 3. They could get 2, man. They could get 2.
But if they get 2, then you're gonna drop Texas out, or you're gonna drop Florida State out.
Florida State,
who both have undefeated.
4. It's 4. No, it's just be tight. It's 4. It's 4, Russ. It's only 4. 12 starts next year. This is the best possible thing that could happen to the script writers.
Yeah.
Best possible, except for the Pac-12. If all this would have happened last year, the Pac-12 wouldn't broke up.
Yeah, but the answer really is they should have just went to 8 teams. If you had 8 playoff teams, I think that
Power 5 and at large, you're good.
Yeah.
Follow the NFL format. You're doing it every other way.
I don't think that you need 12, but it is what it is now. Whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna do. But this is a problem.
It is.
It's a problem, but the only reason it's not a problem is because they'll be like, "Oh, next year we won't have this problem." So you just have to deal with it
until they do, and then all of a sudden, Georgia, Alabama, and like Texas A&M. And somebody else has you can have a bunch of 1 or 2 lost teams in the SEC that have a case to make it into the playoff. And then you're going to be big mad if that happens. But finally, we're going to finish off college football with this highlight. So this is Baylor versus USC, y'all. Baylor versus UCF. UCF is the 2019 national champions, or whatever year they self-proclaim themselves as national champions. They're playing against Baylor.
Don't you ever say that again.
Eric Collins, the quarterback for UCF.
Don't play with me. They ain't been a 20.
Eric Collins, the quarterback for UCF.
Crazy.
UCF was up, I think, 34-0. And Baylor came all the way back and had to lead 35-34. And UCF had the ball. And listen to this. This is why you like college football, because this wouldn't happen in the pros. Oh, Oh, did Daniel Jones throw a pick six from the 4? He threw a 95-yard pick six. Oh, Daniel Jones. I hope that was a fumble and not a pick six.
That was 100% a pick six. I'm watching.
Oh, man. But this UCF game, so Eric Collins, if for those that are listening, went back 30 yards. It was 4th and 5. He went back 30 yards all the way to the goal line and then threw on 4th down and ended up getting the first down after a 10-second play. You could hear the commentator going crazy. They ended up still losing this game, but it is what it is. He threw it right.
Too great of a play. Yes, too great of a play not to watch. I'll try to post it on the Instagram a little bit later today or first thing tomorrow in the morning. But that's just an unbelievable play, unbelievable commentating, and Daniel.
Before we about to get into this college, we finished our college football segment. We are now about to get ready for our football, NFL football, our final segment, NFL. Give us about 2 minutes. Y'all go use the bathroom. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us late night. We got one more segment, and then we are done. Y'all go get y'all beverage. Y'all go pray for Daniel Jones because he looks bad out there.
You need to play for the GM that paid him.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our final segment of football of episode 122 of the Splashcast. Monday Night Raw, the Around the League edition. We talk about some NFL football. While we watch some NFL football, update, Danny Dimes just threw $1 million interception. He get paid $2 million a game. He just threw another interception.
Yeah. They got to immediately just be looking for 2025 when they can try to get out of that contract. But if I'm Saquon Barkley, I'm unhinged. I'm getting thrown out of the locker room. I'm slapping Brian Daboll. I'm slapping the GM. And yeah, I don't care. You paid him $82 million for 2 years. And you paid me 10?
Yeah.
Can't win with him.
Yeah, man. So this week in NFL football, man, there was a lot going on, man. We had a lot of good games. Dolphins, Bills. We had our beloved Falcons and Jaguars. You see I got the Braves hat on for a reason. Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Titans, Bucks, Saints. Had a bunch of games. There are a bunch of kind of crazy stats from this week. Stephon Diggs went wild. So the Bears are the first team in NFL history to allow 25 points in 14 straight games. I don't think they've won in like 10 straight games. They haven't won since like week 4 of last season or something like that. Wild.
If I'm Justin Fields, I can't win. I can't win like that. Y'all can give up 25. I gotta score 26 points a game in order to have a chance to win.
4 touchdowns. You gotta have 4 touchdowns offensively a game to win.
And y'all ain't never had a receiver in the history of the Bears organization. This is a shit show. Justin Fields, hey, bro, it's time for you to be somewhere else.
Oh, we'll get to it. New England's 35-point loss was the worst defeat in Belichick's career against the Cowboys. Mac Jones, woo, you look atrocious.
Yeah, not even just bad.
He don't
like
look
we told you.
He looked like bad Kirk Cousins. What that guy say? The NFL's a bunch of Kirk Cousins. He looked like bad Kirk Cousins.
I agree. Wait. Also, Belichick now, you starting to look funny in the light.
Starting?
I hate to say it.
Ain't no start. You made that point in episode like 10. And I was like, dog, and I have been closely watching that point. And it's true. Hey, bro, you ain't really win nothing without Thomas.
And it's not even that you're not even winning. You don't regularly roll out a competitive team. I get it. Tom Brady is once in a lifetime, arguably one of the greatest football player of all time. But you got guys, and we talked about this weekend. Mike Tomlin. No matter what he's had, he's been able to roll out a team that's regularly competitive. Never had a losing record. Bill Belichick, you're not doing that.
Not at all. And we'll get into the nuts and bolts of that game. But Dallas just thoroughly dominated that game. Puka Nacua already holds the record for most catches in a player's first 5 games after 4 weeks. Hell of a
Look
stat.
at that. Who
39 receptions in 5 games is kind of crazy. He had the game-winning reception against touchdown reception against the Raiders. No, Chargers.
He broke this week's record. He broke next week's record this week. And I've been trying to tell y'all, McVay is the mastermind. This is plug and play. We did not know who the hell Puka Nacua is. I had to do my Googles, had to do my research.
Went to BYU.
Yes. This guy was not expected to be a standout receiver in the NFL. I don't even know what round he was drafted in. But for sure, he now looks like a world beater.
He looks like a world beater. Khalil Mack joined Derek Thomas as the only players with multiple games with 5+ sacks. It was, I think the joke was that the Raiders forgot that he doesn't play for them anymore. And they just let him go to the play. They just let him get to the quarterback.
Come on in, bro. You know everything. It's like when somebody come in your house, bro. Hey man, you know what the pantry is. Get what you want. You know what a quarterback is. Just going back there, sack him, 5.5, 6 times.
Boy, the Giants are awful. Daniel Jones is running for his life. Josh Allen has 12 straight games versus Miami with multiple touchdowns, the longest streak of any quarterback against one team in history. Running backs had as many passing TDs in week 4 as Joe Burrow has so far this season. Devin Singletary and Derrick Henry threw 2 touchdowns. Zach Wilson became the first quarterback to face Patrick Mahomes and outplay him with completions, yards, touchdowns, and fewer INTs in Patrick Mahomes' entire semi-professional and professional career. And they still lost. And then DeMeco Ryans' first home win as the Texans head coach came exactly 17 years after his first home win after a Texans player. What's wild is that 17 years ago is 2006. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So
you need to bring that part up.
So there was a lot of good football, man. It was a lot of good games, man. Let's get into
DeMeco Ryans. I just wanted to say, early front runner for me as coach of the year. This team is a team who I thought was going to be truly god awful. And he's really gotten there, done the work early, and looks like this team as much as. And I will continue to say this on every show. If you listen to this podcast, I'm gonna say it. I hate the Houston Texans organization, but I am thrilled for DeMeco Ryans and the players he has on that team.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get into these divisional games, man. We talked about the Saints and the the Saints and the Bucks.
Why did they say, well, at least Daniel Jones threw a TD? Oh my God, the disrespect.
The Bucks beat the Saints 26-9. Derek Carr tried to play through an AC joint sprain, which was tough. The Bucks defense is good. Baker Mayfield, you said it. He's got them boys believing. You said he was gonna have them believing. It's gonna be a problem for the NFC my Falcons. I picked the Falcons to go undefeated in the division. I don't believe in the Saints. I don't believe in the Panthers. I did not believe in the Bucks, but Baker Mayfield is playing really, really good mid football.
Hey. Who would you rather have as a quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
Desmond Ridder or Baker Mayfield?
Jameis Winston. Baker Mayfield is the answer. Baker Mayfield. That's a Norwood special. I answered the question without answering.
You doubled up on the shots there. But yeah, I mean, I do think that this is my real analysis on Baker. I think he loves to be the underdog. He lives for that. I think that's
it's in his personality to be.
Yes. I think that's where he flourishes. So when the expectation is low and he can go in and kind of create a narrative in his head, I think he will flourish. Now, I think potentially if they either continue to win this season or, I mean, at this point, you would have to bring him back next season when they believe that he can continue to win. Yeah.
Oh, my Lord.
He could potentially turn into a pumpkin. Now, that is, I think, a reasonable and fair assessment. But when backed in the corner, I think he's going to find a way. Now, and that's going to keep you in the NFL a long time. It's gonna be one team that'll be like, all right, let's give him another try, and then he'll do it. And then as soon as he's a starting quarterback, he won't be able to do it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, so they played well, man. The Saints, kind of told y'all now. Now, Chris Olave is good. I will say Chris Olave is good. I'm looking for the next running back to be moved to be Alvin Kamara, to come back and play and get beat 26-9 in a divisional game. They are going to figure out a way to blame that on you, even though they shouldn't. I think you are the next salary that probably needs to go if they decide to. And you could probably get a lot of stuff back. And then there was the next NFC South game. Now, normally we lead off with this team because it's our team. But it was so bad. It was so... The Atlanta Falcons played the Jacksonville Jaguars. And let me tell y'all, it was in London. It was on at 9:30 a.m. before the pregame shows. It was all eyes on the Falcons and the Jaguars. The Jaguars had just come from a subpar performance against the Texans, who are legit, and we thought that this was going to happen. They were broadcasting it on Toy Story. Look at that. They broadcast it on Toy Story. In Toy Story, animated in Nickelodeon animation. But as you can see, now Bijan is for real. I would love for Bijan to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, but it's probably not going to happen because of CJ. I'm good on the Pixar animation, but I think this was a nice little addition to it. But if you look, most of the highlights are coming from the Jaguars because the Falcons got beat 23-7. And when I say the Falcons got beat by 23-7, it wasn't as bad as it sounds, but it was as bad as it sounds. I don't know how it could be as bad and not as bad at the same time. The defense looked good. The offense, Desmond Ridder looks atrocious.
I'm going to be I'll kind of break down each piece individually. I think that's the best way to do it. Quarterback play was god off. Desmond Ridder consistently doesn't look like, he just looks afraid more than anything. He doesn't
19 of 31, 191
he doesn't look
yards
confident
and
throwing
2
the ball down the field. Now, I will say he did have one excellent, elite level back shoulder throw to Drake London for a touchdown. And that's the part that's tricky, is that he has those, he'll make that throw every now and then, so he's capable of doing it. Versus
tricky for who?
Marcus Mariota. Just hear me out. So Marcus Mariota, we looked at last year, and we knew 100% he never had the ability to do anything like that. He's throwing the ball off the ground. He was trying to throw bounce passes. He just couldn't do it. Desmond Ridder will make a throw every now and then, and he's like, you know what? That's a really good throw. But then you watch the rest of them, and it's terrible. It's god awful. Or he just immediately goes to the check.
So
Bijan Robinson, I think he had 19 touches for 137 yards, and they said that was a bad day for him. Also, thoughts and prayers to that linebacker who he destroyed. He had a one-handed catch. He is going to be the person who single-handedly gets Desmond Ridder fired, because Bijan, every game so far, has shown us a play that makes him look like one of the best football players in the NFL. And if you can't help him be better, then you have to go the hell on, because it looks like he's that good. Offensive line, mixed bag. The pass blocking, it has to get better. It absolutely has to get better. Run blocking,
exactly,
more than sufficient.
I'm letting him finish. Exactly.
Absolutely. What he should have as far as interceptions should probably be double what he has currently, and that's problematic.
He should have 10. He should have 10 interceptions.
And you're just that you can't win that way. The receivers, Drake London, you could do a little bit better. Kyle Pitts is just running cardio. Jonnu Smith is getting the ball when he can. I mean, I think he's honestly his favorite target other than Bijan. The defense, turn on the lights like Future. The defense has played consistently. I don't think that we have the absolute best defense in the world. I don't think we have the best players. But for what we have, they have done a fantastic job. Jeff Okudah was back. He covered well. He's an upgrade from Flowers. Even the play that AJ Terrell got beat on, Arthur Smith explained it. He said, no, that was the technique we wanted them to play. Calvin really he made a good decision. And I want to say that our defense has been our leader. They have been one of the bright spots of this team. And unfortunately, I think a lot of it, if not all of it right now, is on Desmond Ridder. They know he can't throw the ball, so all they do is crowd the line, which makes it more difficult to run block.
Let me read some stats to you. 19 of 31, 191 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions, 4 sacks for negative 31 yards. 7 rushes, 16 yards. 2 catches, 21 yards. 0 catches, 0 yards. 3 catches, 28 yards, and a touchdown. The first stat was Desmond Ridder's passing. 19 of 31, 191 yards, and 2 interceptions, and a touchdown. I'm okay. It's kind of like what they're saying about Zach Wilson. I'm okay with Desmond Ridder making mistakes. I'm okay with you throwing interceptions when you are being aggressive. That pick 6 was egregious. It was bad. And then to come right back the next drive and throw another pick that should have been another pick 6, but he ended up fumbling in the red zone, and the defense actually bowed up and didn't allow them to score and stopped them on 4th down. Desmond, you are bad. And I normally try to shoot bail to young quarterbacks, and I'm like, dog, they got a lot going on, man. They got a lot. It's hard to assimilate into the NFL and to be a true professional, although I do think it's easier now because college is basically semi-pro. But Desmond Ridder does not look like he has improved at all. It looks like he has regressed. It looks like the moment is too big for him. It looks like when Cincinnati played Alabama in the national semifinal in the playoffs. When that happened, Alabama didn't do anything special. Didn't do anything special against Cincinnati. And Desmond Ridder he was the best quarterback in the nation, or one of the best. They talked him up, and he played against a real defense, and they got embarrassed. It looks like that's the real Desmond Ridder that we've seen. Yeah. He cannot. He always seems to shrink under pressure. So I have always given them bail, and I have blamed Arthur Smith. I have blamed Arthur Smith for his play calling. For the most part, I've said, dog, your play calling is awful. The first half is terrible.
It is, and it has been.
But if you go back and look at the tape, there have been so many missed Drake London and Kyle Pitts passes that he either throws or does not see. It is bad. He has the vision of Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson he only sees one thing. Desmond Ridder, if it's not the first throw, he can't read and go back. He doesn't really know how. He had one pass where he moved the linebacker to the right and threw it into Kyle Pitts. Yep, Kyle Pitts. One pass the whole game.
He doesn't.
Good.
And this is the issue: is Pitts is starting to take heat for it. They're starting to take shots at him, and that man's trying to get paid. He's trying to earn his second contract, and you're not even giving him a shot at this point. And these jokes are funny too, and you know he sees them. And he's trying to be the best team player he can be, and not probably fly off the handle. But I've started to see trade rumors, and that's not what you want from a guy.
They talking about sending him to Dallas, which would just be Dallas or Miami. They talking about those are the two places.
And I mean, you look at Dallas, or not Dallas as much as you look at Miami, and you're like, you're right. It's a better place to be.
I see you, Nessa. Yeah, don't. Desmond Ridder is fiery on the sideline, but he wasn't fiery with Mac Hollins though.
Exactly, and that's when you put that in the little group. I laughed. I was like, bro, you can talk all this. We see what you play like.
Yeah, man. I would love for them to. I hate that they would have to go make a move. I would love for them to make a move.
I don't think they're gonna make a move. Well, wait. What I'm talking about with Kyle Pitts, you can't risk.
No. Desmond Ridder. No. You've invested 3 first-round picks in what's supposed to be. 2 of them are generational talents. One of them is in the next. It's supposed to be an advanced version of Mike Evans. And for what we've seen, when they actually can get the balls to them, all 3 of them, Bijan Robinson included, are crazy. And you still have Algier, who I think is being used just totally incorrectly. But you got to go get a quarterback. You got to go get somebody. We had this conversation a little bit earlier. We're going to talk about here the person that you got to go get. The Bears lost to the Broncos after being up 28-7. Justin Fields had the best game of his career. The Broncos came back and won 31-28. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. That organization has been poorly run since the 80s. They have one run in the 2000s. Well, won the couple with Urlacher, but it seems like they still refuse to evolve. They keep going and picking the wrong skill positions, like the Falcons can't draft a damn rush in. Chase Claypool will remain away from the team indefinitely this week as the team prepares for its Thursday night game against the Commanders. They basically are trying to trade him for a 4th through 7th round pick. When somebody tells you we trying to trade you for a 7th round pick, they don't like you. Boy, Daniel Jones just threw another interception.
Well, my thing is, you can't. Your organization, which is one of the original football organizations, has never had a damn wide receiver. I'm not playing wide receiver for the Bears, to be completely honest. No.
I wouldn't go there.
I'm not going there. I have way too much statistical data that shows me that they're gonna ruin this.
No, it's not, Sneaky. I'm gonna answer your question. The Falcons have beaten the Jaguars like 6 straight times. We always play them overseas and we always beat them. But yeah, back to Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool is a tight end. You need to go ahead and put him at tight end. Make him Noah Fant or something like that. He cannot play the number 2 receiver. As the number 2 receiver.
No. Well, I think that he's tricky. I don't hate him playing like tight end H-back. I think he could be a wide receiver. The Bears just the worst place for him to go as a guy who probably believed that he was at one point a guy who believed himself to be a wide receiver 1 who was 100% a wide receiver 2.
So the Bears right now currently own the number 1 and number 2 picks in the draft. If you own the number 1 and number 2 picks in the draft, you have to make a decision about the number 1 pick is always reserved for normally a quarterback. Yeah, Daniel Jones is awful sneaky. The number one pick is normally reserved for a quarterback or generational talent somewhere else. To have the number 1 and number 2 pick, especially with the way that the Texans hit on the number 2 and number 3 pick with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson Jr., who has been absolutely destroying offensive tackles. I think you could do that with Chicago. You could go get Caleb Williams and pair him with Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore and basically start over. But if you do that, you have to get rid of Fields, who you just traded 4 picks for. There's a team that needs him, Justin Fields. And I think Arthur Smith with the Falcons, his offensive play calling is handicapped by Desmond Ridder. I think Justin Fields will be able to open up that offense. If you're the Falcons, do you go get Justin Fields? And what would you give for him?
Oh, a first. I don't think that the first round draft.
Let us know in the chat. Would y'all give up a first for Justin Fields if you're the Falcons?
Uh, yeah,
Why would
that's
you
my
give up a
thing is
first?
I will give up a first because I don't think that you can draft a guy better than Justin Fields in the first round, and I think that this team teeters on needing a quarterback. I think that this team could win the NFC South with a quarterback. With no quarterback, we're just gonna watch them burn up.
Implode. So I
Yeah,
would love to see
and
Justin Fields. That would be great.
and the other part is you need to go find a quarterback in order to keep Kyle Pitts and Drake London.
And Bijan.
Or they're gonna ask. I mean, Bijan, this is his rookie year, so you can't really ask out yet. But I know Kyle Pitts got to be like, hey man, I'm trying to get paid. This guy is not gonna allow me to get paid. I want to get paid and I want to stay here. But with this, y'all are not gonna give me enough money. So I got to go somewhere else to show my talent. And at that
Justin
point,
Fields showed so much promise in that game. Now I will say the Broncos are bad, but he was making the throws. He was making the back. The timing was there. Everything. DJ Moore had a good game. Everything was good, except Justin Fields seems to try to do too much, and I think that was a product of them not having a running game. He had a sack, fumble, and then he also threw an interception. And they still had a chance to win the game, and they decided to go with a zone read on 4th and 1, which is coaching. I think Justin Fields, yeah, sneaky. That's what I was thinking. And I would, if I'm the Falcons, I give up. I'm not saying they would take Ridder, but I give Ridder in a second versus trying to give a first. I would lead with that. I wouldn't try to. I'd try to keep a first. I would try to. You already got the first 2 picks. I'll try to keep the first.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I 100% agree. I wouldn't go in leading with my first, but I would be willing to spend the first.
Yeah.
Like if it came down to it, I mean, as the GM, you got to try to keep your job too. And I know that if Kyle Pitts asks out, then the world could come crashing down around me real fast. So the best thing I can do is
because that was his first pick too, wasn't it?
Yes. So if I got to ensure myself a job, if I have to burn a first round pick, well, shit. I mean, it's not the first time the Falcons have burned a first round pick. At least this, and then you could go ahead and pay him. You could say, hey man, we'll give you a 2 or 3 year deal, give you a chance to re-earn some money. We can't give you a ton of money at this point just because you have show proof of concept. But we would love to have you, and we'll put the weapons around you so you can earn some money, and we'll go ahead and pay Kyle Pitts. So you got that insurance policy. You got
that's your negotiating factor. We'll pay you 2 years plus a team option. We'll give you a little bit less. We'll give you 3 year 2 plus 1, which is going to be a 3-year $60 million contract. We'll give you $20 million a year right now. Guaranteed. I'll guarantee it. $20 million a year guaranteed in this quarterback climate and quarterback market is a win. And then we are going to re-sign Kyle Pitts. We are going to give you all of the weapons that we gave Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota.
And AJ Terrell. We're going to pay him too, so you got some so you can feel comfortable that the defense is stable. We're going to put a team around you, and we're going to put you in a much better city.
So
we'll come back in 2 years and reassess.
And then you'll get your big payday. But we are giving you a chance we have way more weapons. We think we have better play callers, and we have a better defense. We've had a better team and organization than you have. That's my selling point. And I think it works. You want to move on to the NFC North? NFC North. Ooh, that's my beer. NFC North.
45?
Yeah, a little bit. NFC North, the Eagles won, beating the. Hey man, the Eagles beat the Washington Commanders 34-31, and I think it was overtime if I'm not mistaken because we watched that game.
Correct. Yeah.
Are the Commanders for real?
No.
Eric Bieniemy seems to have that team. That offense is getting better week by week.
That defense is not though. Now that's the part
where they spend all the money. They spent all the money on defense.
And Eric Bieniemy is going to be that. Now Eric Bieniemy is sitting there like, all right, well, the bad news is we lost. The good news is this gets me closer to my job. And Riverboat Ron, it's only a matter of time. They're gonna get you out of there.
They don't. They
And
don't. They don't want him either. Anyway.
yes, and if they can continue to score a decent amount of points with this offense, and you as the defensive guy is not stopping people with the defense that you have, what are you here for? I mean, I hate to say it that way, but that's your job. You were a linebacker for the Chicago Bears. You're supposed to be a defensive guy. We hired this guy who's got the offense looking like something, and your defense still don't look like nothing. Then we'll let the offensive guy do this and let him find a new coordinator.
I'll flip it for you. What does this say about the Eagles' dreaded defense to allow 34 points? And really, 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 if you want to look at Terry McLaurin, if it wasn't for a well-placed forearm by the Eagles safety,
yeah,
the Commanders might have won that game, and they beat them last year.
I said this a million times. The Eagles, while they had a very good season last year, that's exactly where that ended last year. I think
they
this
trick
is still
bag?
a good team.
You think the Eagles are trick
No,
bag?
they're not trick bag, but they're not. Oh, Daniel Jones goes down again. Oh, he had a terrible day. Awful good for nothing terrible day. Who wrote that book? But yeah, it's not there. It's not like they're not going to be able to run through teams like they did last year. They got tape now. They do have some injuries that they've been battling. They need to kind of get it together. But the thing about this is, I do think that it's number one, it's a division game, and winning the ugly games helps.
Mm-hmm. What?
Nothing. But yeah, I think that winning the tough games means a lot.
I will say I'm happy that I like that AJ Brown and Daniel Jones, another sack fumble. AJ Brown.
Wait again?
Yeah. I like that AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts got into it on the sideline, and then AJ Brown responds with 2 100+ yard touchdown receiving games. That's really, 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 really encouraging to see if I were an Eagles fan. That defense, that secondary, ain't as vaunted as it used to be. Now y'all gonna have to get it better. Other NFC North news: the Cowboys played the New England McCorkles, and McCorkle Jones got benched because he threw more touchdowns to the Cowboys than he did his own team, and they lost. The Cowboys won 38-3. The defense played really, really well. The offense played pretty good.
They don't like Daniel Jones. They let him get destroyed.
Well, they also their offensive tackle for Andrew Thomas is out. That's their best offensive lineman. He's hurt, and they pressuring that left side. They just whatever. Did the Cowboys have I don't know if the Cowboys have rebounded to look like the best team in the league.
No, this is all. Don't believe this. This hand is smoke. This hand is mirrors. Mac Jones is terrible. They don't have any wide receivers. Bill Belichick, and then the guys who they did. Well, Christian Gonzalez is hurt indefinitely, which is very bad. Matthew Judon, Christian Gonzalez has a shoulder injury. They really haven't said more than that. But yeah, he's out indefinitely. Matthew Judon also with, I think they believe to be a torn pec, out indefinitely. The Patriots are a team that is trending in a negative direction, and Cowboys, this is what I would call a slump buster, but also this doesn't mean anything because this team is not legit.
How long of a leash does Bill Belichick have?
The longest. I hate to say it that way, but it's the longest.
So he can. So what does that mean? So he can coach as long as he wants to. There is that what you're saying?
He got at least another 2 or 3 more years, easily. Ooh. At minimum 3. I say at minimum 3. He gonna bail. Well, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna bail on Mac Jones. they'll blame it on Mac Jones, and then they'll like, all right, let's reboot and get another quarterback. Now,
this is when you need a publicist. If I'm Matt Jones, you got to hire a publicist, because there's no way I'm gonna let you blame this on me, and you made me play a whole freaking season with no offense coordinator.
People gonna forget. Like, you have to remember. Shout out to the Splashcast. Always remember, like, follow, subscribe. Most people don't know that. Most people have and if they did know it, they definitely forgot it. They're just gonna say, "Hey, Mac Jones, this guy looks like a bunch of nothing."
Think about that. That's a whole year of development it was Bill and the dude that can't even coach defense. That got fired, Patricia, that got fired from the Lions. They got him coaching offense. Like, come on, y'all. Yeah. That to me is a fireable offense. If I'm Robert Kraft, that would have got I'd have used that to fire Bill Belichick.
You can't. So what's gonna happen is they're gonna bail on him. They'll get a new quarterback. Then you got to give that new quarterback 2 or 3 years. So by then, Belichick, if he can't get it going with the next one, he'll just retire. So yeah, the Patriots are in this perpetual fuckery. That's the only way I can put it.
It is.
I mean, well,
right now, today,
the Giants won't be looking with Daniel Jones for the next 2 years. They won't even be available to do anything to 2025.
Right now,
this is one thing that we have to consider. You know who this is good for? Arizona. Because these guys look so bad that you might be able to trick somebody into taking Kyler. Because as bad as Kyler is,
not Atlanta.
As far as
it's not Atlanta, dog.
Oh, not, and please, Atlanta, don't. Let's not. But, and I don't think the Patriots either. I could not imagine Bill Belichick and Kyler Murray. But I could see New York maybe being, foolish enough. But I think that these quarterbacks playing this terribly will open the opportunity for Kyler to be traded, which I did not think would be reasonable a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
Let's move on to the NFC West, man. Christian McCaffrey is looking like the early MVP season favorite. They are 4-0. The San Francisco 49ers look like they are the best team in the league. Brock Purdy is not the best quarterback in the league, but he is the best quarterback for that system right now. And he has figured it out. He just does not make the big mistake. And they give the ball to everybody all of their players play multiple positions except for George Kittle. Everybody's a running back. Everybody's a receiver. Everybody's a wide receiver. Everybody's an H-back. Everybody can do everything. And all they do is get the ball to you in space, and there's nothing you can do. And they all block.
That is the thing. They don't block. They finish the drill and finish blocks late in plays.
Yeah, man.
That is elite coaching. That's elite motivation. Yep. McCaffrey has scored multiple times from big wide receiver blocks late in the play, way down the field. That's when you have your team hustling and working together. And one thing that, because we talked about quarterbacks yesterday, Brock Purdy has been effectively throwing tight window throws. Mm-hmm. And he's 20 of 21.
He went 20. He was perfect. Low-key, I think through an interception.
Him and Justin Fields went crazy yesterday. Mm-hmm. Like the efficiency and the effectiveness was out of this world. And I mean, it has to be that good that you don't even hear Trey Lance anymore. You don't hear anything about the Trey Lance situation or, oh, I can't believe that or none of that. No. We got us a quarterback. He's nailing it. We're undefeated. We're one of the last 2 undefeated teams in the NFL. This is legitimately what you would consider the definition of a saving grace.
They are the best team in the league.
Oh yeah, I told y'all that. And now Reggie, was it you that said Dallas? And I was
I
like,
said
nah, no
Dallas looked
way.
like the best team in the league when they beat whoever they played. Was it the Giants? When they scored all them touchdowns?
Sure. But we see
But
that didn't mean anything.
and then the offense went out there and looked bad against the Cardinals. Boy, they brought in Tyrod Taylor. Shout out to Tyrod, another guy that got done wrong.
Hey
But
man, if he get don't let them give you no shots, big dog. Go to the hospital.
since we had the NFC North, man, we gonna finish out. We gonna finish out the West and the North. The finish out the West and the North. Seattle had beat New York 24-3. 24-3. And it wasn't close.
If I'm Tyrod,
They
I'm
are
not even going.
they look so sad.
Let it finish the game.
They look so sad on the
Finish the game.
Giants
I see
sideline.
that.
Oh, they dancing on the midfield. Oh, they gonna get Daniel Jones out of there. Who is? The Seahawks might mess around and make the playoffs. I like the Seahawks.
No, I don't believe in these. Don't believe in these guys either. Now,
They made the playoffs last year.
I mean, okay, you said make the playoffs. Yes, sure, they make the playoffs.
You saying the show? That's easy.
No, I mean no, but I mean yeah, I think they probably do make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised that Geno came back
and played well. Scored.
Yeah.
Man, you keep putting in the. Okay, let me get this correct real quick. You keep putting in the wrong link.
But the Giants are who we believe them to be. Clearly, me and Sneaky said thinking the same thing.
Yeah, the Giants are awful. All right, there we go. Oh, is it gonna load? All right, so then the AFC South. In the AFC, what do the Bengals do with Joe Burrow? Because the Titans absolutely destroyed them. I think they won 23-7, 27-3, 27-3. With the AFC the North way it is, the Ravens thumped the Browns. And then the Steelers got destroyed. Mike Tomlin said it got to be changed. Matt Canada is not it as an offensive coordinator. And then Tennessee destroys the Bengals.
Burrow needs to sit down. Jamar Chase actually alluded to that before the season started. He said, I would actually be more cool if he sat out the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of went under the radar. Nobody kind of paid attention to it. I think that's the right answer. He's hurt.
He's hurt for real.
He's now becoming a detriment to the team because you're not getting any better and you're not playing. And you're playing. So either get the rest and let us take these L's so we can, turn around at the end of the season, or you need to play better, but you can't do both.
Yeah, he said, Jamar Chase is upset. He said, I'm open. I'm always effing open when it came to answering about the Bengals' last L after losing 27-3, and he didn't really get a lot of catches that game. Nobody did. They only scored 7 points. Joe Burrow does need to sit down. You may, and not. I think T. Higgins got hurt. You may,
correct.
Unfortunately, because we're in the first 4 games of the season, we are now done with a quarter of the season, which is fast. If it doesn't improve for the Bengals, and they're in a tricky cap situation, if it doesn't improve for the Bengals, you may have to punt on this season.
Well, the first part is you got to go get a better backup quarterback than Jake Brown. That's rule number 1.
But you may have to punt on this season, though.
Getting close. T. Higgins is questionable. Irv Smith is out. Charlie Jones on the injured reserve.
It gets ugly fast, man. It gets ugly fast. Meanwhile, in Baltimore, they out there just chilling. Hey.
Number one, I love the Park Heights strut.
Yeah.
People been killing this.
Yeah,
Also, the reason I really put this is this dude has done more work than OBJ. Over the last, everybody did all that talking, including his father, about, oh, Baker Mayfield not throwing the ball to my son open, my son open, my son open. Well, Baker Mayfield has taken a team that absolutely nobody believed in, and they're 3-1. And Baker Mayfield, and OBJ, I think, has 5 catches for the season. I mean, can you blame that on Baker? Yes, 5 catches, 66 yards, 13 yards, and his longest was 29 yards. So really,
he's been hurt though,
take
right?
out that one.
He hasn't played in the last couple games, right?
He played in 2 games. He played against the Texans, played against the Bengals. But remember, that was my whole purpose of when they were like, oh, well, we'll pay OBJ and we'll bring him in as your wide receiver 1. And I said, when was the last time that OBJ has played consistent, meaningful football? It's been way too long. He can't be your wide receiver 1. So who you have? You got Zay Flowers, who I think has played pretty good, but I don't think he's ready to be the wide receiver 1 for a Lamar Jackson team that wants to throw the ball consistently. But Lamar did that to himself. Lamar should have brought his ass to Atlanta and played with some real weapons. Odell been hurt. He didn't get hurt. He stay hurt. If you stay hurt, then you don't have to get hurt.
Lamar was only 15 and 19 for 186 yards. Like, they didn't really do a lot.
That offense is never changing in Baltimore. I don't care what coordinator you have. The basis of that offense is going to be Lamar running the ball as long as he's there. They're another team that unfortunately doesn't really knock it out of the park with wide receivers. They're like the Bears light. They get you a guy, but Anquan Bolden the best Ravens receiver?
Probably.
And I like Anquan
Shannon
Bolden.
Sharp. And Anquan Bolden, Shannon Sharp, Steve
Shannon
Smith.
Sharp was like, he was just there at the end of his career to kind of ring chase. He was a Bronco. I mean, he was good, but
Shannon Sharp was pivotal on that offense. It was Shannon Sharp and Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, but I mean, basically, he was at the end of his career when he got there.
That don't mean he wasn't pivotal. I don't get that one. But yeah, so the Ravens, they got some soul searching to do on offense. Hey, Todd, if you don't like it up there, dog, you can always come back to Georgia, because we look bad against Auburn. Lord, we look bad against Auburn. The game of the
best five Ravens receivers ever: Derek Mason, Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, Torrey Smith, and Michael Jackson. I don't even know who they had. Michael Jackson only spent 3 seasons. This is Bears light.
Derek Mason came from the Titans too. Ugh.
Yes. Bears light. This is another. How do you just not be able to get any wide receivers ever?
Yeah, they got to figure it out, man. They got to figure it out. Let's move on to the game of the week. So, one team was coming off scoring 70 points, and the receiver, Robbie Anderson, said they want to go ahead and score 400. Like, why not? We already at 70. We should have broke the record. So they came in with big expectations for this game. And the Dolphins, after scoring 70, scored 20. And that Bills defense came ready to play. And Stephon Diggs wanted to let y'all know, I like Stephon Diggs. Whenever he plays against a big wide receiver, somebody that they say is better than him or on his level, he goes out there and tries to absolutely destroy them. Stephon Diggs had to let y'all know that he is him, and the Bills and Josh Allen beat the Dolphins 48-0. Now, there's a little spiciness here because the Dolphins defense is known to troll. They said put in Mike White when the Jets played them. They said they put the thinking emoji saying that Josh Allen can't really think his way in the game. He's just big and athletic. Josh Allen scores a touchdown, goes for 5 touchdowns or something like that, and does the thinking emoji. The Dolphins and the Bills go against each other. They played each other either in the playoffs or in position for the playoffs over the last 3 years. There's a lot of divisional spiciness in this game. So the Bills made a statement that they are the best team in the NFC East, and it's really hard to argue with them.
Correct.
Thank you.
This was a punch in the mouth. It's a hell of a punch in the mouth, too, boy, to be completely honest. I mean,
they beat the hell out of them.
They felt real confident. You go into the last game thing, we should have scored 100 points, and then you get boat race 48-20. Yeah, find your humility real quick. Life will come at you fast. Football is a week-by-week thing. You show up every week. Whatever you did last week no longer matters. And I think they need to remember that. And then from there, the only place you can go is up.
Josh Allen was 21-25 for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That's the part. You can't forget about who these guys are. Did he have a rough start? Yes. Am I making an excuse for the rough start? No. It is what it is. It was bad. And it wasn't bad. It was terrible. But don't forget that man's still that man. Yeah.
And I will say the bright spot for the Dolphins in this game, Devon Achane seems to be really that dude. He had 8 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
Not to mention his receiving, where he had 3 catches for 19 yards as well. So he can do it all. He seems like he is another one of those positionless players. He seems like honestly, the way that he runs away from everybody, he seems like little Tyreek Hill. Like, that's how he plays.
Yes.
He is little Tyreek Hill.
And I think that the fact that he gets an opportunity to play with Tyreek, I'm one of those guys. If you get a chance,
boy, sneaky, you better buy. No, you don't believe in Josh Allen. I'm sorry.
If you got a chance to learn from a guy who does exactly what you do the way that you do it, then you should take that time to soak up that game. And I think that he's doing that. And I think he's making the best of this situation. And I think it's going to be good for him. And you're playing with multiracial McGain, which is
he is a rushing guru. But he got outcoached. He got outcoached that game. So the AFC East is wide open. The AFC North, I don't know what that is. The AFC South is all the Texans. The Titans got a big win, but the Texans. Nico Collins and CJ Stroud seem to be a great combination, and that defense with Jonathan Grenard as well as Will Anderson Jr. They still got players coming back from IR. They got Stanley Jr. D'Amico Ryans is playing really, really well, and he seems to be in lockstep with the GM about building that roster, and they are building that roster. They are good, man. Let's move on to the AFC West. Of course, the West is always going to be the Chiefs division as long as Patrick Mahomes is there. It's Chiefs first, then everybody else. We talked about the Chargers playing the Raiders. It was supposed to be a battle of 2 good bookends in Khalil Mack and Chandler Jones, both probably on the backside of their careers, but still really good and really effective. Then there's reports of Chandler Jones and the Raiders at odds. He has said that he was detained.
This is a bad situation.
Illegally. Not illegally, that the Raiders sent the police over to his house to do a welfare check and told them to sedate him and put him in to the mental health facility after he was trying to work out and called out the Raiders publicly. The Raiders, it has gone on. We won't get into too many details, but it has been a back and forth, and they are now releasing Chandler Jones following an arrest yesterday. Well, that wasn't yesterday, a couple days ago. The arrest, though, had to do with the Raiders sending the police over there. So I don't know what's happening. I hope, first of all, T's and P's to Chandler Jones. We always want you to make sure that you have your mental faculties and make sure that nothing is wrong, and make sure that you are okay. Mental health and player health is first and foremost. But if you are okay and this is just bad management by the Las Vegas Raiders, Chandler, there is a home in Atlanta for you. We don't have a rush end. We don't have one. Not that can just get to the 55. You look like John Abraham.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We can.
What? Talk it through.
We can't deal with that right now. I think the best thing for him to do is get some help, spend some time with his family. I did watch his live, and he talked about your boy. What's the old boy who used to play for the Patriots? Play for Aaron Hernandez. He looks erratic.
So he does look erratic. Well, yeah, T's and P's. You got to get well soon. Then That's what I said. I said if he's okay. Now, if he's not okay, then he needs to step away from football. But from a larger thing, the Raiders they look bad, man. The Raiders ended up playing against the Chargers, and I believe the Raiders won. The Chargers won that game, right? I got the
yes,
right
correct.
But if you look here,
the Raiders
don't
have their Jimmy G was in concussion protocol. They had a backup.
He's always in protocol. Look at this fight. The Raiders was about to fight against the Chargers. There's a lot going on, but I mean, you said Jimmy G is in concussion protocol. Correct. Jimmy G is always in protocol for something. He's been hurt every year. He be hurt every year.
I mean, yes. At this point, and even when he's there, I don't think that he's he's still Jimmy. I think that the Raiders are just they're in another situation where that might be another team that you can trick. Somebody's going to get tricked into buying Kyler. I'm a firm believer in that. And all of these teams that have quarterbacks, do you want Jimmy G or you want Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
Exactly. But I don't think that the Cardinals, they probably happy with Josh Dobbs, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, can we just move this contract around? See, Jimmy G is kind of on that Daniel Jones contract where, they're not taking him. They'll struggle. Damn near ready to. The dead cap is where he goes crazy. But yeah, you just struggle with Jimmy G for 2 more years. Kyler got that extendo. Pause. But I could maybe see them buying into Kyler.
Yeah. Elsewhere in the AFC West, man, Philip Lindsay is the former Denver Broncos. Yeah, Denver Broncos running back
for the Denver Broncos. Yes.
He called out the Broncos and said, "Where are the receivers if they were getting beat by the Chicago Bears?" After they completed the comeback in which the receivers played well, Jerry Jeudy said, "Glad you got to watch the game from the crib." In response, that was the only thing he said. He said, "You should know how it is in the locker room, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But glad you got to watch the game from the crib, though, fam." So the Broncos are hearing all the noise that they're talking about. And you can't not hear. You have Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. So, and they supposed to have one of the better defenses. Do you think that I don't think the Broncos can turn their season around personally. I don't think so. I think they are lottery bound.
Well, I mean, if they're also in the AFC West, they're not going to be better than the Chiefs. Not going to be better than the Chargers. You'll be better than the Raiders. Um, you don't think they can make the wild card?
No.
Because I don't think that Russ is really having that bad of a season.
I didn't say I there's a myriad of reasons why they won't make it. Sneaky immediately says, I blame Russ. As soon as you say Russ is having a bad season. We love y'all for tuning in with us, bro.
His completion percentage 67.4%. He got 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's a rating of 106. He's expensive.
Yeah.
But he ain't terrible either.
Yeah, but I mean, for now, I mean, you're relegated to the wild card. There's no other. You're not going to beat the Chiefs. You have to be better than the Chargers. You're better than the Raiders, I'm assuming. But then you also have to, now you got to contend with the Texans, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Bills.
Yeah, you're right.
The Ravens.
They don't make it.
Yeah, I from what I've seen, I'm assuming that Joe Burrow sits down and that he comes back and they contend for a wild card. I think there's too many teams ahead of the Broncos right now. Maybe next year.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Speaking of the Chiefs, they played the Jets. And what we thought was gonna be a blowout. I thought it was gonna be a blowout. I was like, this ain't even gonna be close. The Chiefs ended up winning 23-20. Zach Wilson actually played his best game of his career. We talked about it earlier that he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Kinda. Patrick Mahomes kind of treated this game like they knew they were gonna win. He was throwing the ball across the field in triple coverage. Like he was out there wheeling and dealing, just playing. But the Jets offense had his best game of the season in touchdowns, total yards, and completion percentage. He had a 105.2 passer rating to Patrick Mahomes' 63.6 passer rating, and the Chiefs still won. I will say, yes, Sneaky, you right there. The Jets kind of got robbed at the end of that game. Jermaine Johnson was held for like 5 seconds on, was it 3rd and 23 or 4th and 20, something like that. 3rd and 20 to ice the game. Jermaine Johnson was held so bad that I was like, dang, that sucks. But, script writer's going to script. I don't believe in moral victories unless you're the Jets right now, because this was definitely a moral victory. Shout out to Sneaky for reading my mind. Been part of the Rod. Sorry for Rod reading my mind. I definitely think this was a moral victory.
Yeah, that moral victory, sure, but you need real victory soon and very soon. He did play a hell of a game, and he outplayed Mahomes. And the first interception Mahomes threw, we chalked it up. The second one was like, "Hey, bro." I don't know if that holding call to me it's not bogus. He was reaching around the top of the shoulder pads, around the helmet. I see it. I understand it. I mean, if you feel that way, I don't think you're wrong either. But you'll have plenty of opportunity to see here soon.
It is what it is. I just hope that they don't get tricked into not replacing Zach Wilson. I think this is a turning point for Robert Saleh. If you allow Zach Wilson to trick you into not going to get somebody else, then sir,
that's the other part.
In trouble.
Make a good decision here now. Don't play yourself.
Yeah, man.
Don't start believing. Don't start believing what we know not to be true.
Yeah, man. And then finally, in the NFC West, we skipped over in AFC South. We skipped over the Rams, who are in the NFC West, and the Colts, who are in the AFC South, played each other. The Rams ended up winning on a walk-off touchdown, 29-23. They played really, really well. Touchdown by Puka Nacua in overtime to beat the Indianapolis Colts, who actually came back in this game to force overtime. Puka Nacua is out here looking really, really, really good as a rookie receiver. We already told you he has the most catches in his first 5 games during the season. He looks like that dude, man. He's playing well. He has very short hands.
He looks like Cooper Kupp. Funny story.
You said he looks like Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, I mean, plug and play, plug and play, plug and play, plug and play. If you play with Sean McVay, it's like playing running back or whatever position you play with Kyle Shanahan. He's going to dress that thing up for you, and it's going to be good. It's that simple.
I still think you underrate Cooper Kupp, but I will say Puka is definitely adding some bullets to your argument because he is out here. Now, I will say also, he's playing with a better quarterback. Well, no, they both played No, because
with Matt
Stafford, but he wasn't there the whole year, though. Matt Stafford got traded that year, and they ended up winning the championship.
I mean, look, he doesn't look. Puka Nacua is a 5th-round draft pick from BYU. You think he's that good on Atlanta?
With Matt Stafford at quarterback, yeah. Not with Desmond Ridder. Cooper Kupp ain't that good in Atlanta.
I don't think he's that good in Atlanta with Matt Stafford because he would have Arthur Smith. I mean, no, and that's not a shot at Arthur Smith. It is just is what it is. I think that having Sean McVay as your coach is going to do things for you that nobody else can do.
I will say, Anthony Richardson, hey, man, he becomes the first quarterback in history with 4 rushing touchdowns over his first 3 games, which I'm not surprised at that stat because they were going to do that anyway. They were going to use that. He scored 3 total touchdowns, 2 pass and 1 rush, and converted 2 2-point attempts against the Rams. If they can get Jonathan Taylor to buy in, or they can move Jonathan Taylor and get something else, they are a year away. I will say that they will not be as good as the Texans are this year. But they are a year away. They could be good.
The guy Zaire Alexander, he lead the NFL, he was leading the NFL in tackles. But I ain't gonna hold you long. I'm not gonna belabor this point. Should have been drafted, right? At worst, should have been drafted.
Yeah, he still can't hit the broadside of a barn now. His percentage is down. No, he still got the same issues I done said now the whole time now. But they are definitely using him better than Billy Napier did. Like, it's Billy Napier, dog. I hope you stay at Florida forever. Forever. At least when Georgia had Matt Stafford and we underachieved, Matt Stafford still had 4,000 yards passing.
They look like world beaters. That's my thing with Billy Napier, man. You almost tricked it. Like, shout out to his marketing team. You almost tricked this man's life off.
Yeah, they marketed him soon. Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say he's the best quarterback in the NFL, but he's a confident. He's better than Desmond Ridder.
Yep. Not even close.
You gotta think about. You think that the Giants rather have Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson?
At this stage in their career, I think I don't know. They're similar. They're very, 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 very similar.
Minus the $82 million. Same thing.
No. I think Anthony Richardson will be better than Daniel Jones. You talking about today, like right now? Well, then yeah, I don't think Anthony Richardson looks that. I think Anthony Richardson looks like Daniel Jones in New York. I don't think New York is good. I don't think New York offense is good. I don't think New York offensive line is good. They ain't got no running game. They don't do nothing. I don't believe in New York at all.
Exactly.
See? Push. Exactly. That's why I was like,
But for me, he hasn't embarrassed me. And that was my biggest thing is everybody's like, oh, he's not that good. He shouldn't be drafted. Decent.
Shout out to the Colts. Remember, was it the Colts or was it the
Jim Irsay
Lions?
is the Colts' worst.
No. Let me look this up real quick.
If they could
Indianapolis
get rid of Jim
Colts.
Irsay, they could have a team.
Indianapolis Colts coaching staff.
Oh, what's his name? Shane, whatever it is. He got it going.
Yeah, they've got a good coaching staff over there, man. They got Reggie Wayne. No, coaching staff, Indianapolis Colts. They've got Shane Steichen, who's pretty good.
Yeah.
He came from the Eagles. I thought they had what's his name on there that used to coach the Colts. He was the head coach for a while. He's like the quarterback whisperer, the black dude. Yeah, Reggie Wayne is wide receivers coach, and the wide receivers are doing pretty well. They've got Matt Wright. They've got a lot of good assistants that are good at developing players. They put together a good coaching staff over there. So to put together a good coaching staff over there, they got Cato June. You remember Cato June? He's the linebackers coach. You remember him? They got Cato June at linebackers coach. They have a really good mixture of young and old coaches that that's right. Sorry, Sneaky. Our people are funny. But they got a good coaching staff around Anthony Richardson. And Shane Steichen, didn't he come from the Eagles? Didn't he come from the Eagles? So they're treating him like Jalen
Hurts.
And it's working. And it's the perfect place for Anthony Richardson to go. Because I do think
if you had Jonathan Taylor, because you're the owner.
Even without Jonathan Taylor, I'm talking about coaching, but Jonathan Taylor may hear me out. He may have kind of stifled his growth a little bit if he did that, because they're just gonna hand the ball off to him 25 times a game. But when you don't have him, you're forcing him to throw. You're forcing him to say you got to be the running back and the quarterback, and possibly on the end around pass, the tight end. Like you gonna have to be that guy, and they're forcing. Jonathan Taylor not being there is forcing the coaching staff to accentuate all of Anthony Richardson's abilities versus I want him to stay in the pocket and throw. I only want him to roll out. They're like, you got to do everything. And he's built for it. But this is
the one thing I will say about Anthony Richardson is physically, he's built for it. And competitive-wise, he is going out in all of these games and giving his damnedest.
Yeah, he ain't going back. What they say? He playing like he can't go back. Shout out Bomani.
Yeah.
When you playing like you can't go back, whole different type of effort out there. Daniel Jones can go back.
Even in the game the game that they lost, he brought him back. He did. I love Anthony Richardson, man. That dude plays tough. He plays aggressive. He does everything you can ask him to play.
I love that he's really, really good after Florida. That is just so fantastic. But, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Lord.
We've come to the end of episode 122 of the Splash Cast, the pregame and the Around the League edition, Monday Night Raw. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. Always remember, like, follow, subscribe. Norwood, if you didn't miss anything, take us out.
Man, this has been a fantastic, week. I've been in Atlanta for a week now, 7 days, kind of ripping and running. But yes, to close out the pod here, fantastic. Feels great. Next week, I'll be back in H-Town. Number one, more black baseball. And not only more black baseball, make sure the Ronald Acuna is the NL MVP. Let's not mess that up.
Gotta be.
Number two, more black Cowboys and more black Cowgirls. Number 3, we are already in homecoming season. I actually miss Texas Southern homecoming, being here in Atlanta. So it is of the very utmost importance. The historically black college and university you graduated from, your auntie graduated from, your cousin graduated from, the person you used to sit in the back of the church with, they graduated from. Send some money over there. The historically black college and university that you go to for homecoming, step shows, to be around your people, just to kick it on the yard. Send some money over there. And finally, to the greatest learning institution in all the world, the Hampton University. We only ask for $18.68 on behalf of the Splashcast for the year the Hampton was founded. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Until we meet again, y'all be safe. Adios. Arrivederci.
Acuna is him.
Gotta is
appreciate
love.
it.
And make sure Ronnie Rockets is your NL MVP and Shohei AL MVP. And we out of here.
And Justin Fields come to the Falcons. We out. Peace. Love y'all. Stay safe.
This is the Splashcast weekly schedule. You can find us on Monday Night Raw. That is the Around the League edition where we cover all of the major leagues around the league. Tuesday is the ATL edition, Braves, Falcons, Hawks. Wednesday is when the playlist comes out. It's a Splashcast 24, 12, or 36 pack, just depending on the music. Thursday, for everybody who was not able to catch us live on Monday, they can catch up there on the Around the League edition. And then Saturday, of course, We Bet Beers for Saturday Morning Live. If you ever need to find us, we can be found at splashcast.com and, of course, via Instagram at Splashcast.
My greatest flex is that I made a milli. Feel like I'm Bangladesh. I hate the press, refusing interviews whenever they request. Niggas fake, progressive, and woke. I started saying less. I had to stop it. Peeped how they profit off of racial stress. Some activists got so rich they probably wish we stay oppressed. Studio steppers moving extra on songs fake and rep. Only breaking bad in the lab. Thought y'all was making meth. Niggas making threats and I laugh. That's cause you ain't a threat. Don't ask how I feel about no rappers. Shit, they okay, I guess. Incoming call, press the button. The one that say accept. He FaceTime to ask for a feature and saw the face of death. I'm on your song, your streams going up. Not quite the Drake effect, but don't complain, bitch, take what you get and cut the label check. My table set, I dine on your favorite. One verse will take his breath. I probably put more niggas on pause than Cam and Mason Beth. My agent get a whole lot of calls. It's like he paid the ref. These bitches out here looking like Steph on a late contest. Wide open shooting they shot. Don't even waste your breath. I been stopped fucking you thoughts. Ain't got no patience left. Say that shit for one of them.